Meet Pete. Pete doesn't know it yet, but in 3 hours and 41 minutes at 7:43 a.m., he will be rushing his pregnant wife Abby to the hospital. He won't be thinking about whether his car is charged and able to safely cover the distance from here to there, because the engineers who designed and built Pete's car already thought all about it. SAE International assembled a team of engineers from all over the world to think systematically about the charging of Pete's car. These engineers developed a series of standards that made mass production of Pete's car safe, affordable, and environmentally sustainable. But Pete won't have to think about any of that. He's probably never even heard of us. And we're fine with that. Because in helping the engineers keep Pete's car fully charged and safe, we've done our job. Sleep well, Pete.
Hey everybody, Mark Z here. Welcome to another Supercharged episode. We're here at the in my office, actually. We're on Farmington Hills and on 8 Mile Road, and we've got a special guest on the other side of the country, the SAE President, Todd Zarfos. Todd, how you doing out there in Seattle land?
I'm doing well, Mark. Glad to be here.
Yeah, how many cups of Starbucks have you had today?
I'm on my fourth, so I'm supercharged and ready to go.
Oh, that's great. We're on board here. Great. Well, you know, it's great to see you. Great to have the connections here. SAE is all about those connections. SAE is about mobility. You know, being in the Detroit area, we're ground vehicles, a lot of computer stuff now in cars, and pretty much kind of, you know, what you guys have been doing all along there with those things that fly. I just got back from a trip yesterday in Florida, and it was nice and sunny there. Today it's raining here in Detroit. So, you know, the technology is kind of overlapping, and SAE is right there in the mobility field to stay in front of that, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that I see most stark in contrast as far as where we are over the last, I'll say, 10 years, the convergence of issues, whether you're talking about autonomous vehicles, electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles, cyber, artificial intelligence, machine learning. I mean, it doesn't matter which sector you're in, every single one of the vehicle, the auto, the aviation, everyone is dealing with the same types of issues.
Yeah, security, cybersecurity, that's a biggie. You know, I work in that. This autonomous thing, you know, self-driving cars, but you've had kind of like self-flying airplanes for a long time, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly out there. You know, I spent my career on the commercial transport side, so it was all about, you know, carrying a lot more people, longer distances. But with the emergence of, I'll say, let's just say alternate vehicles in terms of trying to fill some of those spaces, I think it's very exciting to see what's happening out there in the marketplace.
Now, one of your focus areas as you have as president is in standards development, and you know, the idea of autonomous vehicles and new mobility and opportunities to collaborate between the sectors, SAE sectors, and technical standards. I mean, it's always been there. How do you see it now? It seems like, boy, it's right. It's the right time.
Right. A good question. And, you know, I think It's going a little bit slower than I would like to see. It's been a focus area of mine as well as my predecessors. If you go back to Shri and Jeff Hemphill and previous presidents, I mean, we've all recognized that there is a need to do more cross-sector harmonization in the area of standards. But by the same token, as you know, our industries have grown up over 110 plus years. And we all have institutional issues, all of those different types of things. But I am starting to see, I'll say, the groundwork and the framework for more cross-sector work. So it's certainly there. But frankly, if you think about mobility and where SAE is trying to position itself, what we're trying to be, we want to be the enabler of it. We want to be the organization that is bringing solution spaces or solution sets into that space. And, I think we're making progress, but certainly more work to do.
Now, speaking of enablers, what about that next generation, right? The young engineers that are coming up, the engineers to be that are in an AWIM program. I know also that's part of your presidential focus, which is great, the STEM area. And, my daughter just graduated from University of Michigan in computer engineering. And, I don't know how she did that because, it wasn't because of her dad, but I think it's because, frankly, the influence that SAE held upon her. She participated in AWIM as a elementary student. So, I think there's something so important there that we need to reinforce that. And maybe you can share some of your experiences going across the world to see those programs here as president.
Sure, I'd be happy to. First of all, yes, I have a passion for STEM. I'll even make it a little bit more global in terms, I have a passion for education. I'm first generation college. And so, I feel blessed to have had the opportunity to get my engineering degrees and business degree. And I see education as a huge game changer. And so when it comes to like a World in Motion or a collegiate design series, I am just so happy to be associated with SAE and the great work that's happening in that area. I myself, I know, Mark, you also were a volunteer in the classroom associated with the World in Motion. I was as well. We were trying to figure out, because I didn't have a specific way to date it, but I participated either the first or the second year of when a World in Motion became available. And then I spent several years working in the classroom, and now fast forward to having the privilege to represent SAE and be president. So when it comes to STEM, again, whether it starts in the classroom with a World in Motion or all the way through our collegiate design series, anybody that has participated in those opportunities to see, the passion, the enthusiasm of whether it's elementary school students or college students, they just love having those types of opportunities to learn new things and then apply it in an experiential way. And to your point, I've had the opportunity to visit many universities across the country. I've seen programs at the international arena as well. And so it is something that really it transcends national borders, it transcends languages. Everyone wants to have those kind of opportunities. So let's do all we can. And I will encourage everyone that has the opportunity to listen to this to, get supercharged about trying to help out, volunteer your time and get involved.
Yeah, so that's really a key message. It's that engagement. I mean, personally, you give back, but you gain so much, and then it's developing the world. And internationally, I've traveled as well as many of our engineers here in the society. It's engineering's an international language.
Absolutely.
And it's so cool to see some of the things you've studied, work on, in China or anywhere in the world being adopted. Yeah. So when you come to Detroit, we have a great occasion that is called the WCX. It's our World Congress experience, and I know we've seen you there, and you had the privilege too of handing out awards and fellows, as well as all the other great recognition that SAE gives out to members. And I mean, it's kind of a change though from, this is your second journey through the presidential trek, right? So what's the biggest change that you saw back in the COVID years, 3 long years ago?
Yeah, exactly. So for the listeners, I was the I guess my accidental term, which was I was president in 2020 which was of course interrupted by COVID. And our focus then was, along with pretty much all industries, of just trying to get through it, trying to learn and adapt. And now I've had the benefit, and again, I feel blessed to have had the opportunity to come back as the president of the organization in 2023. Mark, what I was really excited about is going to Aerotech down in Fort Worth, and of course WCX in Detroit, and then our Comvec in the Chicago area. All three platforms did very well attendance wise. I spent a lot of time not only in the sessions but out on the floor, engaging with the participants, and it was just fun to see. I mean, I think there was a lot of pent-up energy. People are glad to be back. They want to engage, they want to learn, they want to contribute. So we're very bullish going in as we head into 2024. I think things are going to continue to improve. What I will also offer is, if any of you, have ideas, maybe you participated this year and you saw some things that you would say, hey, can we also add this? Or this didn't really resonate with me, or I think this is missing. Please do, please do give us that feedback. So I want to make sure my email address is president@sae.org. And if you send me a note or whatever with your ideas, I'd be happy to make sure we get that brought back into our events team.
So there's 2 things that I'd like to emphasize what you just said there. First of all, your offer for people to send you messages and information and engagement. I don't need to repeat that, but it's genuine, and I think everybody throughout the organization feels the same way, is that we can do this, we can do better even than we're doing now. And it's just that interaction and engagement, whether in your standards group or a conference somewhere, but you're not there in a presidential tower anywhere. You're reachable, and everyone in that position, I think, welcomes that engagement, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would point out that, look, we have, our profession spans, from those that are going through college, participating in collegiate design series, all the way through professionals, at 40 plus years of experience, which is, I guess I would be in that category. So, I accept that there's a continuum out there of how people want to be engaged, what they're interested in. And so we are really trying to adapt our programming so that every single one of our engineers, every single one of our people that are in the mobility industry, even regardless of whether they have an engineering background, that there's a way we can connect with them and they find value. So yes, please do. Again, president@sae.org.
I'm not going to ask you for your phone number, but everybody texts now, and WhatsApp and all these other apps. So that's coming. SAE is adapting, and that communication channels are going to be there. And
absolutely. And Mark, if I may, certainly feel free to connect with me through LinkedIn.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So it's the Z Club, Mark and myself, we're in esteem category there. But also you can message me through LinkedIn as well. So any way you
Yeah.
want to, I'll find a way to
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah, that works good too. Yeah. So, as we kind of round up the discussion here, one other important point of focus for you, I know, is coming back to that engagement again. Tell me what you hear. I mean, you've got that your listening ears on, you hear some things. What can you share? What's the vibe there when you do get out and talk and learn?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I do think there's excitement in general about people kind of reemerging and engaging. I would say that where the frontier is in terms of what we're trying to navigate, certainly from a SAE board perspective, is look, we know we have a lot of new entrants into this market space. So when you look at mobility, it's not just the traditional OEMs that have, been very successful for, literally generations in the three different sectors. Now we have other companies coming into that. SAE, the standards community and everything isn't necessarily at the forefront of their mindset, right? Many of them are just trying to, work on a product, get it into the market. So part of what we're hearing and what we're dealing with is how can we better engage some of those communities? How do we get them involved? We know through experience that especially if you look at the standards area, the benefit that is provided, there's a reason we have a lot of professionals and companies investing time. Standards are a great enabler for business. And so trying to help some of the newer entrants discover that before they go through a lot of lessons learned and learning curves and everything. So that is certainly one area. As we continue to look at digital platform like Mobilis, I encourage you to go out there. We have made a lot of changes out there on the SAE website. I've heard nothing but positive information, but it's, again, we're always looking for feedback. So how we engage, how do we transform the standards world? Another issue, Mark, that's very out there is like with artificial intelligence. What does that mean to standards? What does it mean from our ability to copyright and protect our information as well? So, those are all the new frontier. We're trying to learn as we go through it. But the one thing that I can promise you is not only for the remainder of my presidency, but as Carla Belo takes over into next year, we're going to continue to do everything we can to make sure that SAE is relevant, both from a professional perspective in terms of what we're doing for each of you, as well as what we're providing back in terms of a service to industry.
Well, we look forward to hearing more about that as time progresses. So much more to talk about in this arena. It's still exciting. It's always exciting, when the connection between our traditional mobility industry here in Detroit, the ground vehicle industry, and aerospace and the other places that we can bring together here in the computer industry, what's going on in Silicon Valley, et cetera. There's so much more there.
Absolutely.
And SAE is the place to be.
All the cool kids hang out here, as you know, Mark.
Especially with the Z's in the last name.
Exactly. Hey, Mark, one thing I wanted to say is I want to personally thank you for your commitment. Your Supercharged series is a wonderful venue to get the information out, to share in the professional community what's going on, what's topical. And that takes your personal time and commitment. So, my personal thanks for your commitment and everything you've done to help SAE. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I really greatly appreciate that. It's a team effort. It really is. Well, Todd, it's been great talking with you again. And this is a fantastic conversation that we're going to have repeated over cup of coffee or a beer, or anytime I'm out in your area, you're out here. So appreciate everything that you're doing as well. And for all of those out there that want to learn some more about SAE Detroit section and SAE in general, you can reach out to either one of us. We'll show you here on the screen slide here of different contact details. But until next time, everyone, I wish you a supercharged day. Thank you.
Take care.